call this meeting to order. Village of Ridgewood, Village Council reorganization meeting. Today is July 1st, 2020. The time is 12:01 p.m. Adequate notice of this meeting is provided by posting on the bulletin board in Village Hall by mail to the Ridgewood News, the Record, by submission to all persons entitled to the same as provided by law with schedule, including date and time of this meeting. Roll call, please.
Deputy Mayor Mitchell. Here. Councilman Seaton.
Here.
Councilman Boyd.
Here.
Councilwoman Walsh. Here. And Mayor Asher.
Here. Please stand for the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join us in a moment of silence. The brave men and women serving our nation's armed forces, its first responders. Thank you. We'll now ask Monsignor Ron Wozniak from Lady Montgomery Church to please come up for the invocation.
May I take the gospel? Only because when I read, it fogs up my glasses. Let's bow our heads and pray to God and believe. Blessed are you, Lord our God, who rules the days and the nights, and the times and the ages. And blessed be your holy name, which we invoke in asking you to be present with us here today. As we bow humbly in gratitude for the gifts of life and freedom, and of the call of service to others. Holy and eternal God, for all who believe you are the author of all that is, the Creator, the source of all goodness and wisdom. Created in your image, you have charged us to use our gifts in pursuit of that same goodness and wisdom. We call upon you and invoke your blessings on these, our sisters and brothers, whom you have chosen to govern, to lead, and to inspire this community of Ridgewood. As you love us and all you have created, so may they also love us. For out of love flow truth and honesty, dignity and respect, justice and compassion, and true service. In these stressful days, bless them with this kind of love for this village, so that all of us together may continue to build a community and a world that is just, peace-loving, caring, compassionate, and understanding, enjoying and sharing the blessings of this community. Give you honor and glory in our community and in the nation, now and forever. Amen.
Thank you. We'll now go to comments from the public, not to exceed 3 minutes per person.
We have a person on the phone.
Loving, you're on. Please state your name and address.
Ann Loving, 342 South Irving Street. First of all, I'd like to thank Mayor Hache for 4 years of service. I wish you all the best moving forward, and I look forward to seeing you on the board of chosen freeholders. I'd like to also thank everyone who took time and put in all the effort to run for council, including Mahmoud Hamza and Sergio Allegre. Your willingness to serve is greatly appreciated by everybody. Congratulations to Councilwomen Lorraine Reynolds and Pam Perrin on being elected to the council. I'm very happy for both of you. I personally know Councilwoman Reynolds very well and have worked with her side by side on several initiatives. We're so lucky to have both of you on board serving our village. Congratulations to Councilwoman Walsh, who's been elected to her 3rd term. Wow, this is true dedication and much appreciated. 12 years. Thank you, Councilwoman Walsh. Enjoy the day. I'm so sorry that members of the public can't be there in person to congratulate all of you, but we very much appreciate that you have provided the streaming and the Zoom platform that we can be with you virtually.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Please raise your hand. I'm showing no others.
All right. I move that the council minutes of October 2nd, 2019, February 5th, February 21, February 26, March 4, April 15, April 22nd, May 6, May 13, May 21st, May 27th, June 3rd, June 10th, and June 17th having been reviewed by the council and now available in the village clerk's office, be approved as submitted.
Second.
Newton,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Boyd,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
Mahajan.
Yes.
This time we'll have a marked by Councilman Jeffrey Boyd.
Thank you. Dear fellow council members and members of the Ridgewood community, I've enjoyed my 4 years on the council immensely and have a number of people to thank for it. First, I'd like to thank a team of people who helped me get elected. They include Kevin and Carol Matesic, Chad Chadwick, Sergio Legre, Bill McCabe, Wendy Dockery, Ann Spalcaber, and Dana Glazer, and my wife Patty. It was a blast working with you on the campaign, and I owe that gratitude to all of you. I'd also like to thank the residents who voted for me. For those who voted for me, I stayed I'd be an independent thinker and do my best to look out for your best interests, including spending your money wisely. I tried my best to live up to those promises. For those who didn't vote for me, I had the opportunity to meet and work with many of you. And what I found is that we had more in common than none. I enjoyed and respected your perspectives, even when we disagreed. All were extremely civil and I always look forward to our discussions. I'd like to thank my fellow council members, Mayor Ramon Hache and Bernie Walsh, for their civility, willingness to listen, share, and their desire to collaborate. I'd like to thank those in Village Hall for their hard work on my behalf, the council and the village. These people include Heather Mailander, Donna Jackson, Eileen Young, Beth Spinato, Chris Rudishauser, who happens to be one of the most responsive, and helpful people in government, Rich Calby, Nancy Bigos, Janet Fricky, Dawn Citrillo, Sue Ulrich, Deanna Schlevick, Margie Downs, Tom Yaka, Chief Jackie Lifke, Captain Bill Amaruso, Sergeant Jay Chuck, Chief Jim Van Gore, Bob Brindley, who was also a great CFO, Nancy Green, Victoria Hilditch, Lori Steinbecker, and the entire library staff. Volunteers I've especially enjoyed working with include Paul McCarthy, Arlene Serrapo, Jean Cleary, Dan Cummings, Linda DiOrio, Carolyn Holt, Betsy Giordano, Gail Campbell, Janice Furman, Glenn Houck, Don Liebrick, Sheila Brogan, Helen Leonard, Bob Furman, Beth Abbott, Richard Brooks, Charlie DeMarco, Paul Aronson, Alex Kasilovich, Evan Weitz, Mike Winograd, Janice Willett, Scott Leaf, Cynthia Hallaby, Roberta Sonnenfeld, Sergio Allegre, Greg Brown, John Kavanaugh, Ray Shinazuka, Jan Phillips, Hans Lehman, Joel Torrielli, Ian Spalcaber, Pete Hamilton, Mark Stappenbach, Karen Fader, Alpa Pucciarelli, Rocco Orlando, Pete Hamilton, Jeannie Wilson-Smith, Jim Morgan, Vince Lanto, Mohammed Mahmood, Don Delzio, Jeannie Johnson, Richard Joel, Inez Punza, Stacy Antine, Paul Gagianos, Bill Carbone, Paoli, Joan Broom, Jane Remus, Ali Harlan, Maria Velosa, Barbara Ferranti, Doug Liddell, Gail Mandelli, Mahmoud Hamza, Ann Burton Walsh, and Siobhan Winograd, who deserves the nickname Super Volunteer. I'm so glad you're in our town as you make it such a great place to live. All of you have been very giving of your time to causes that make our village a better place. These are people I never would have met and interacted with except for my time on the council. You made it all worthwhile. Thank you as well to the Bolger family for your generosity with the renovation of the library. The renovation never would have moved forward without your philanthropy. We are very lucky to have you as part of our town. I've come to appreciate and empathize with past elected council members and have enjoyed the conversations and understanding issues they faced, how they've dealt with them, and advice they've given. I applaud you for your willingness to stick your neck out and desire to do what you believe is best for our village. We may not always agree, but we always look forward to our next conversation. I found your advice to be more sound and informed than some of our Monday morning quarterbacks. Thank you all for giving of your time. I also appreciate many of the residents who have gotten themselves involved in village issues and who have voiced their opinions at council meetings and/or online about how to make our town a better place to live. These people include Paul Baggianos, John Saraceno, Rick Callaby, Jeannie Tyson, Ed Houlihan, Hans Lehman, Jeannie Johnson, Joe Ferrante, Bob Hutton, and Denise Lima. Please continue your activism, if only to provide another perspective on issues. We most especially need this activism at our council meetings, which have become unfortunately myopic. As outlined in the Constitution, good government is intended to provide a public and political arena in which arguments about opposing and different viewpoints can continue in a considered fashion. Without this decision-making, we would be made more prone to faulty and biased determinations. We're elected to solve problems, serve, and help make other residents' lives better. I'd like to take the opportunity to recount some notable successes and as well offer up some perspective on where we are now and how we can continue to improve our life in our town. I'm proud of the fact that we finally built the garage. I do wish the foot dragging on this initiative had taken 3 years. Due to this foot dragging, it cost the town another $1.8 million in additional debt payments based on higher bond rates. The garage should have been job one for the council in 2016, and unfortunately was not, costing the village additional money it didn't have to spend. We were also able to provide a much-needed park for those on the east side of town. I'm confident it will be put to good use by the residents, and I know they appreciate our efforts. I'm proud that we identified means to increase our emergency medical services revenues by over $300,000 and help put this in place based on my expertise in healthcare reimbursement, and to report this windfall added to our village coffers without costing the village a dime. I'm proud of the work of the Financial Advisory Committee. We had extremely talented and accomplished people on this committee. These were people who worked on Wall Street, were successful entrepreneurs, lawyers, and worked at top consulting firms, who started to work on kiosks and their effect on the downtown, thank you to Rachel Mazuka, enumerated and clarified the parking shortage, and made our financial reporting more efficient. Committees like this do important and often unnoticed work, and my regret is that this committee was repurposed by others for political reasons. All the members of this committee resigned when their task became administrative in nature after it was taken over by others for oversight. I don't blame them for resigning. Ironically, they could be helping now with the challenges we face related to budget revenue shortfalls and expense appropriations. I'd say the same for the Community Relations Advisory Board, or CRAB, which was ultimately disbanded for political reasons. This board provided useful insights to those who felt disenfranchised, which is an important purpose of government, to help those at the margins of society. I'm glad they were able to reorganize and reassemble. We, however, as a community and government, lost key insights they provided on how we can help those who feel disenfranchised. I only wish them well. The key to effective leadership is to embrace differences and include them in decision-making, not discard them, as differences make for better decisions. Turning to public safety issues, the work on West Glen sidewalks from Oak Street to North Monroe should improve the safety of our pedestrians. Additionally, the speed sign on North Walnut solved an issue of speeding and has made the neighborhood safer. Likewise, allocating monies in this year's budget for an intersection upgrade at North Monroe and West Glen should improve the safety of the intersection. I'm pleased to work closely with CSAC members, which I regard as one of the more productive and useful committees in the village. Hats off to Charlie DeMarco for his leadership. Before wrapping up, I'd like to share my thoughts on the unfinished business of the town, and specifically how we communicate with each other. Let me start with the positives. There are members of the town who have come together to support to support of those who have been disenfranchised, and this has made Ridgewood a better place. This includes our publicly honoring the LGBTQ community, Martin Luther King, and our military. I applaud their efforts in keeping all these causes top of mind. It was also reaffirming of what our town is about to attend and participate in all these celebrations of those who have influenced us, attained notable milestones, and made our lives better. I will miss this aspect of council responsibilities. Lastly, I plan to update residents on village meetings so residents can be informed and to further the cause of transparency in government. I hope this has helped. One of my main concerns relates to social media and bullying. It has ugly, easy, recognizable telltale signs like threats made, intimidation, anonymity, and piling on by others. While loud in public, these voices are from a small group of individuals people know about. Unfortunately, are not representative of our town. Let me provide a specific example. Recently, a member appointed by the town council to an important volunteer committee used Facebook to publicly make ugly, defamatory, and life-threatening remarks about another resident and cited similar remarks from others. These actions by the committee member who referred to the village council, unfortunately, nothing was done as it turned into a political issue. Who we pick for committees is a reflection of who we are as council members and as a town. It is a mirroring of our character and ethics. This type of behavior has no place in our village, and the message we sent as council members by not doing anything was that we condone this person's actions. I, for one, do not. This person should have been removed from the committee position. I found this entire episode a low point of our town and a poor reflection of who we are as a village. We as a council failed miserably for this person. Again, one of the responsibilities of government is to protect citizens when they're most vulnerable, which did not happen here. What I've also noticed with bullies on Ridgewood social media is that when they're confronted, they're actually cowards and run and hide or claim they're victims. They take no responsibility for their actions. They're big men behind computer screens, but very small ones outside the confines of one. The only word that comes to mind is pathetic. Ultimately, what I've found as it relates to social media is that our biggest problem is not maliciousness, but ignorance. Discussion and knowing are key to solving this. This takes the sharing of information, spending time with what one doesn't understand, and being the voice of the oppressed. There's no law for this, just an appeal to being a decent human being. Elie Wiesel, a Nobel Peace Prize winner and Holocaust survivor, said it best. What hurts a victim most is not the cruelty of the oppressor, but the silence of the bystander. We all have a responsibility to speak up about this type of behavior, as it hurts not only us, but how others perceive us. We're a better town than these types of people. I'm optimistic about some of the initiatives that are being undertaken by our citizens to ensure better and more transparent government. One such initiative is One Village, One Vote by a group of dedicated citizens who want to see government back in the hands of voters. We have too long been manipulated by a minority of zealous voters who turn out in off-cycle elections, of which only 20 to 25% of the electorate turn out for. They in turn choose to affect their livelihoods and expenditures and not necessarily other more representative interests. One Village, One Vote will have on this year's November ballot the question whether we should move all of our off-cycle elections to November. Note that just by voting in November increases turnout to over 50% and as well saves the village over $150,000. We are also one of the very few towns in New Jersey who continues off-cycle elections, being one of only 15 out of 696 municipalities who do so. By moving our elections to November, we should get better candidates and a more representative turnout, thereby picking more qualified candidates and reasonable candidates. I encourage all of our residents to vote to move all elections to November on this year's November ballot. It will make our village a better place to live. Finally, I'd like to wish the newly elected council members, Bernie Welch and Pam Perrin, much luck in their duties. I'm highly confident that you have the best interests of our residents at heart, and you will serve them well. Thank you again for the opportunity to serve.
remarks by Mayor Ramon Hache.
So I'm a bit of shock. I can't believe that 4 years went by so fast. Really incredible. And I do want to start by thanking my wife for the support. Even before I decided to run for office, she was there for me, offering support and getting ready for campaign shape and getting everything going. And throughout my service on the council, what I realize now, so I'm so appreciative of everybody who steps up to serve in public office, is the amount of work and the commitment that it takes, not just from your effort, but also the strain that it places on others in your family. Every time that I had a meeting and there's only one person making dinner. If there was somewhere I couldn't be, it was one parent that was carrying the torch during that time. So I really appreciate all the work and all her support and helping me, perform my responsibilities that I was elected to office for. So I want to thank her deeply for that. I couldn't have done it without her, so thank you. I also want to thank, I guess we're going to time now, them getting elected into office, everyone who contributed to my campaign in terms of their time and effort in getting elected and all the hard work that takes. And that includes people on the dais now and people in the audience as well. I want to thank you for the support that you gave me to be elected to office. I also want to thank the voters for placing their confidence in me, for giving me a chance to serve my community, and all the support that they've always given me in the last 4 years. It's been really overwhelming. It's a tough time to serve. It's not always very nice when things come up, but in general, I have to say that the love and support that I received from the residents here, from everyone those who voted for me and who didn't vote, the support that they have given me, I appreciate and will always remember. Also want to thank the current council for taking a rookie at a very early time and helping me show me the ropes and for giving me your support. And I know that it's we get to see, members of the public get to see what happens here on Wednesday nights. There's a lot of stuff that happens. That room across the hall happened before we get here. There's a lot of work, it's a lot of collaboration, and we don't always agree. That's just the fact of life. You get 5 people in the room, you might have 5 different opinions, for sure. But I appreciate the collaboration of everyone for being respectful whenever we didn't get to agree on things, and for supporting the things where we had agreement. And I really feel that we took on the issues and made the decisions based on what we thought was best for the community. And I truly believe that. And it's a lot of work, and I appreciate all the work and effort that each and every one of you has put in. And it's a tough role to be in, and I appreciate everyone's support in doing that. Also very thankful to the staff for all the work, all the support, all the department heads. In particular, I appreciate Heather Maylander and her support. And haven't had to interact with her in the last 2 years. It's a lot of work, and there's a lot of dedication, a lot of time. I know my phone doesn't have a schedule, so I have to call at random times, and I appreciate always her picking up the phone. And also, Matt, for always having be that sounding board and keeping us from doing some crazy things sometimes. And I respect his professionalism, and really someone who's been a Ridgewood resident for a long time, and not only does he care from the capacity of serving as a village attorney, but also as a resident and long-time member of the community. I appreciate him for that as well. Donna Jackson as well. Donna, you've always been up here with us in the meetings, and I know that you have the unenviable task of putting together these packets, which are just sometimes get crazy. So I really appreciate all the times that every time I walk into the clerk's office to sign something, to do something, that you and the staff are always very, very kind and very helpful. Whether it's for the weddings, for the proclamations, and for everything else. Bob Rooney, I'm sure he's here today, he's not. Thank you also, Bob, for all the support, and again, with all the, 5 different people kind of tugging at your side, looking for information, and you having that information for us when we need it, and giving us the support, and helping us decipher a lot of this stuff. And then, of course, that's sort of the folks who are here usually in the meetings. Every other department heads in the village is just absolutely incredible. Just all the support that they've always given. I've never felt that they were in any way, shape, or form not willing to help at a moment's notice to get stuff done. And again, very appreciative of their time and effort as well. Also, want to thank all of our volunteers in the community, our board and committee and members. Anyone who steps up again to serve the community has my respect, and I really appreciate the work that we get to accomplish. People understand we don't have a staff. It's really each individual council member. So we rely really on the support that we get, not only from village staff, but from the volunteers who show up and help us do what we do. And I particularly want to thank not only all the committees, but also in particular the committees where I've served directly. The CBD Advisory Committee, I know that we always met at 8:30 on the second Thursday of the month downstairs. And as Lorraine knows, we had to call a hard stop at 10 o'clock because otherwise we would have been there until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I appreciate a lot of the dialogue and a lot of the ideas that surface and the things that we were able to move forward and bring to the Village Council. I also want to thank the Chamber of Commerce. I served in the Chamber during my first 2 years in the Council. And we always joke, we call it the monthly parking meeting. I think it's still called the monthly parking meeting, that's what we're also right. All the coordination that with the Chamber and really looking at what are the things that we can do to make the community better. And in particular, in the last 3 months, but I'll touch more on that later. Also want to thank the Parks and Recreation Board and Fields Committee. Chairman Ridgewood and I had to work together on a lot of important issues, and I appreciate his support and guidance in a lot of these issues. And it's a committee that really is closely tied to the department that has the most interaction with members of the public in the village. So it's a lot of work, especially dealing with the athletics and the scheduling and the condition of the fields. And we're able to accomplish a lot of great things, and I appreciate them for that. And also want to thank all the members of the land use boards, particularly the planning board where I served in the last 2 years, although it was a fairly peaceful time. But I appreciate everyone on the board for their professionalism and their support, especially Deputy Mayor Susan Nielsen for her expertise and her guidance. Having served on these boards now for more time than anybody would care to even imagine. I do appreciate your input and your support in these issues. And also, other organizations from within the community, H-Friendly, which I was able to collaborate a lot with those guys, Beth Abbott, Sheila Grogan, and Sue Ulrich. I appreciate them for all the hard work and everything they're doing for older adults in the community. I also want to thank the library board for the tremendous amount of work that they've done, particularly in the last few years in planning and all the work required for the renovation project for the library. And it took a lot of work, there was a lot of coordination, a lot of different stakeholders, and I want to thank them for their efforts in doing that. I know Councilwoman Walsh had served on the library board, and I know she had to deal with quite a few contentious topics there, and I appreciate the work that was put in there. Also, the interfaith community in town, Father Ron, who did the invitation today, he's part of that community. I know Chief Lutke is also very involved, and it's an amazing group. And I think it's one of the highlights of what we can do in Ridgewood as a community to come together. If we can get all the different religious groups to come together forward, and I appreciate everything you've done for the community. And even outside of Ridgewood, you know, I've been dealing with a very kind of league of mayors. This is a group that meets once a month, and we share a lot of best practices, a lot of ideas on what we can do and learn from each other. I appreciate them as well. And also, the Northwest Bergen Mayors Association also meets once a month. And, you know, it's this amazing peer group that we have. And again, it's another part of the support system that we have as elected officials. In talking to other individuals, other folks that are doing the same work that we are. We can learn a lot from them. But, you know, the last few years, you know, coming into the council 4 years ago, it was not a very peaceful time in the village. There was a lot of contention. There were a lot of big issues that were on the table. I mean, the docket was full. We had every possible lawsuit happening at the time, whether it was from residents, whether it was from other towns, whether it was from organizations within the town, developers. I mean, it was a mess. And I, again, appreciate Matt's guidance through that process. But, you know, a lot of the things that separated us, I mean, I'm proud to say that we were able to navigate through, I think, in the best way possible. But, you know, a lot of those issues that separated the community then and how divided we were, it's great to see the community now coming together over those 4 years. And really, you know, it's just a reminder that whatever can separate us today, we can work together, whether it's not exactly how we want it to turn out, maybe it's some form of what we want, but that we can put it behind us and move ahead and move forward to the next things that we can focus on to make the community better. And that's one of the things that I really appreciate the most of what's happened in the last 4 years. You know, we're really divided with all the infighting and all the different groups. And in the end, we realized that we all had, you know, what we thought was best for the community in hand and in mind and in heart. And maybe we just had different ways of approaching it. But I'm very proud of the work that we have done here on this day in the last 4 years. It's been a lot of work. It's pushing a lot of big things forward. I know Councilor Boyd mentioned the garage. I mean, that's sort of the very physical, tangible, visual representation of one of the things that we accomplished. But there's so many other things that were intangible, you know, whether it's with the fair share housing, with a lot of the ordinances in the downtown, the zoning, and all the things that we did as a council, pushing a lot of big things forward. And I'm just amazed when I look at the list of the things that we've done, and the fact that we were able to do them. You know, 4 years seems like a long time, but it really isn't. So I'm, again, very, very proud and thankful for the work that we did up here. You know, certainly, I never would have imagined, I always thought that my last few months on the council were going to be kind of like last semester of senior year in high school. You know, kind of an easy time, quiet time. Never would have imagined that you know, our community would have faced this pandemic in the last few months. And that has been just a really, really taxing time on everybody. You know, personally speaking, just from having to balance so many things at home, and work, and you know, family and village. You know, we came before a pandemic, a set of factors that we never faced before. It was unprecedented. And you know, I always feel that you know, those tough moments when we face our biggest challenges is when you really see where the heart of the community really stands. You know, what's your mettle? And you know, Ridgewood, you know, we have a way of fighting. It's almost like a dysfunctional family. We fight quite a bit about different things, but when it really matters and one of our own is down, we really come together as a community to help each other. And that was just really a humbling and overwhelming experience to see the outpouring of support of the community for our first responders, for our frontline workers, for you know, folks who are in need in the community, whether it was older adults, whether it was you know, people displaced by fire. Just the outpouring of support that I saw just really was just touched my heart in a special way. And I'm so thankful for being part of this community and seeing what we can do when we come together and really support each other. That's just, again, incredible. And I just want to have just some parting words for the next council. I mean, thankfully, things are not as crazy as they were 4 years ago. I know that we're in good hands. We have 3 seasoned veterans. We're going to be here. Who have seen it all pretty much so far. I wish the best to the incoming members, to Pamela Parent, to Lorraine Reynolds. Thank you for stepping up to serve, and I wish you all the best. A lot of patience. Just remember that if you're doing what you think is right, look, not everyone's going to agree with you, but at least you did the right thing. And that's not it's always not that easy sometimes. But thank you, everyone, and I'll miss everybody.
This is for you on behalf of the village.
I'm just going to say a few words. I, on behalf of the Village of Ridgewood, the Village Council, would like to thank Councilman Boyd for his service to our community. While we don't necessarily agree on everything, and we often will disagree, I think we all appreciate that our differences actually make us stronger. And so we are grateful for your service, not just as a village council member, but also your other service as we serve together as a member of the Board of Adjustment. So we're grateful for all those who step up and lean in to serve. Mayor Hache, these are some big shoes to fill, and I think that we will all agree, and for me personally, we will miss you terribly. Ramon Hache has been the epitome of graciousness, of decency, honesty, and truthfulness. He has been a true leader during a time of difficulty within our community, our state, and our nation. For members of our community, his ever-present comments and reassuring nature on Facebook, social media, by way of email, and at meetings has been a gift of calm, a gift of reassurance, and so much appreciated, not just by the community, but also by council colleagues. So again, we will truly, truly miss you, and thank you for your service. And I think we all too look forward to very short order that we will be referring to as Reorg. So we're very excited about that, and I think a lot of folks so you may want to ballot, and that was very exciting with the primary. And so we wish you, Councilman Boyd, we wish you all the best. Mayor Hache, we wish you all the best of great luck and fortune in the future. So thank you. I guess we're going to move on to our
Yeah, at this time, we'll have the reading of certificate of election of Pamela. I hereby certify that Pamela Parent was elected to the village council in the municipal election held on May 12, 2020 for a 4-year term beginning on July 1st, 2020 and ending on July 1st, 2024. It's signed by me as village clerk and dated today, July 1st, 2020. At this time, the oath of office will be administered to Pamela Parent by Susan Cassell, Esquire.
Do solemnly affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that
certified that Lorraine Reynolds was elected to the village council as a municipal election held on May 12, 2020, for a 4-year term beginning on July 1st, 2020, and ending on July 1st, 2024. Dated today, July 1st, 2020. At this time, I have the great pleasure of swearing in our new councilman. Please put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Lorraine Reynolds,
I, Lorraine Reynolds,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all of the duties
perform all of the duties
of the office of councilwoman
of the office of councilwoman
according to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The next item of business is reading the certificate of election for Bernadette Godwin Walsh. I hereby certify that Bernadette Godwin Walsh was elected to the village council as a municipal election held on May 12, 2020, for a 4-year term beginning on July 1st, 2020, and ending on July 1st, 2024. Dated today, July 1st, 2020. At this time, it is my honor again to swear in our re-elected councilwoman. As long as we can hear you this way. So, I can't right hand that, thanks. Repeat after me. I, Bernadette Cotton Walsh,
I, Bernadette Cotton Walsh,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of councilwoman
perform all the duties of the office of councilwoman
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
before we do roll call, I'm going to invite each of our two new council women and Councilman Walsh to say a few comments. So, Councilman Cameron.
Good afternoon. I am so excited to serve the people of Ridgewood. As some of you know, I've been coming to council meetings regularly over the past 3.5 years as an observer for the League of Women Voters. And from what I see, I have to thank outgoing Mayor Hache for modeling to me what good communication with the electorate is, especially during a crisis. And also how to compromise on difficult issues and how to pitch Ridgewood's needs to Trenton. I also want to express my appreciation for Councilman Jeff Boyd's efforts, his willingness to meet with me, to educate me on the issues, and send me articles, and his tenacity on key issues. What I would like to encourage the new council to do in this term is to act on a platform of collegiality, and as Father Ron mentioned, compassion. We have a lot of work ahead of us, and we won't always agree, but we can be respectful of one another and value each other's opinions. With this load of work that we have ahead of us, especially with the pandemic, let's avoid negativity, which can distract us from our goals. I've come up with 5 bullet points of what I'd like to see us accomplish over the next term. First, and fastest, I hope, is to reinvent our downtown. COVID-19 has completely transformed how we operate in public. We need to support the business community, help them survive and thrive, because our home values, our taxes, and the quality of our schools are inextricably tied to the success of the Central Business District. I also would like to see us communicate better with residents and businesses in a more modern way. The third bullet point is we must ensure the village's financial stability despite the pandemic. And that's only one sentence, but it's a huge job because we will have increased costs and diminished revenues. Fourth, we must protect the environment. We need to plant a lot more trees and reduce our carbon footprint. We owe this to the next generation. Fifth, I was listening to Reverend Matt Brandon speak a few days ago, and he mentioned that the African American community, the population, the number of people who live in Ridgewood, has diminished over the last few decades. And I'm asking myself, why? What are there systemic or institutional obstacles that keep the African American community from wanting to stay here or wanting to move in? We need to investigate this and make Ridgewood a more welcoming place to live. I'd like to finish with gratitude for I am grateful to my thoughtful, civic-minded team, comprised of Jeannie Johnson, whom I think of as the modern-day Henrietta Hawes, Siobhan Cran-Winograd, who is endlessly energetic Janice Willett for her precision and wise counsel. Linda McNamara, who prepared the soil many months and planted It's not easy running this system. Thank you, Dylan, for working on it. Okay, we'll try again. So what Linda McNamara did was she planted the seed in my brain, and she watered it. She came back and brought it sunlight, and helped it grow until I was ready to run for council. I'd also like to thank Susan Gazelle for supporting me today. Susan Cassell was my boss, is my friend, and continues to be my mentor. And I admire her thoroughly. I'm so glad she could be here today. I also want to thank all the generous contributors to my campaign. Every dollar you gave fired me up. And all the voters who voted for me, and all the voters who didn't vote for me. I still represent all of you. Those of you who are watching by Zoom, please continue to attend council meetings. Government functions best when it is watched. And when you can come back here in person, do that too. I urge you to get involved in civic matters. Find out what's going on with your neighbors in your town. Spend the hours and hours that Ramon Hache was telling you about. You won't regret it. In fact, you'll be proud of what you accomplish. Please call me with any questions you have, any observations, insights, solutions, and yes, complaints. 201-444-4264. That's 201-444-4264.
Thank you. Councilwoman Reynolds?
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to thank my husband and our 3 boys for their support, not only during this campaign, but also for their support during the many years of council meetings, planning board meetings, board of adjustment meetings, and other meetings that I have been attending. There were many missed dinners, late nights, many times pounding the pavement with flyers, delivering signs, collecting signatures on petitions, and they were always there to help. I want to thank everyone that voted for me. I'm honored to have received your support. And to those that did not vote for me, I hope to earn your support and respect. I will work for everyone. I'm sure that nobody will be happy with me all of the time, but hopefully you'll know that I'm doing my best and what I feel is right for Ridgewood. I have great hopes that the 5 of us will work together wonderfully, and we'll have a great 2 years and possibly even a great 4 years. Thank you very much. Short and sweet. Councilman Walsh.
Good afternoon, and welcome guests, friends, and residents watching from home. I want to express my sincere thanks thanks to all those who reached out to me to offer congratulations on my reelection. And I want to thank all those that voted for me and supported me during that time, whether it be by phone, text, or email in these strange days of COVID-19. I truly appreciate your kind words and continued support of me as a council member in Ridgewood. This was a historic election here in Ridgewood, as it was the first time 3 women have been elected in a single election, and the first time a woman has been elected to a 3rd term on the village council. I find this fitting in the 100th-year anniversary of the ratification of the 19th Amendment to the Constitution, allowing women the right to vote. These past 4 years on council have been rewarding and energizing, as there are so many projects and initiatives that have been accomplished. I know 4 years seems like a long time, but truthfully it goes by in a flash. I want to acknowledge and thank all those committee members that I've worked and shared ideas with in my most recent term. Our village thrives when residents can share these ideas freely and collaborate to improve our village. The long hours you've all spent show your dedication in helping Ridgewood flourish in quality of life, education, and culture. I also want to thank Heather Maylander, our village manager, and Don Jackson, our deputy clerk, Matt Rogers, our village attorney, and the entire staff who keep the village running like a well-oiled machine. Without your professionalism and expertise, our job would be much more difficult, so thank you. I want to thank my husband and my 3 children for all their love and support, and for sharing me these many years with the village. I also want to thank Mayor Ramon Hache and Councilman Jeffrey Boyd for their service to the community. They've dedicated the past 4 years to service and have made significant contributions to our community. I wish them both well in their new endeavors, and I hope they will continue to serve Ridgewood. The village hall doors are always open to you. My new assignments include Parks and Recreation, Field Committee, Board of Education, and Stigma-Free Ridgewood. I'm also continuing my newly formed Adopt a Senior program. While I've served on both Parks and Rec and Field Committee in my first term on the council, the Board of Education and Stigma-Free will be new committees for me to collaborate. I look forward to getting to know those members and doing good work for the village. My Adopt a Senior program has grown because so many of our residents pitched in to support it, and I'm working to formalize the program with both student and resident liaisons to manage the growing need. Like I've said before, when Ridgewood pulls together, it really pulls together. I would be remiss if I didn't say that this reorganization wasn't bittersweet. 3 weeks ago, my council colleagues asked if I'd accept the nomination for deputy mayor, to which I joyfully said yes. A week after that meeting, Susan called to inform me that she called a new meeting to change that nomination. Needless to say, it is a great disappointment to me. I'm proud of my service to this village, both in my role as councilwoman and in the many hats I've worn these past 23 years as a resident. I'm proud that the residents call me the independent voice on the council, as I truly believe that council members owe it to the community to speak for themselves and not as a block. In recent years, the term council majority has been deemed derogatory. I'm proud that I won this election with the largest margin in Ridgewood history to the next closest competitor. It proves that the electorate has spoken and they support my role on this council. I'm proud that I'm described as a trusted, respected leader, and I pledge to continue to serve in Ridgewood's best interest and look forward to a bright future in our community and ongoing collaboration with the residents, my new and current council colleagues, as we hope to make Ridgewood even better. And I'm just going to close with a quote from then resident and now councilwoman Reynolds from the 2014 reorganization meeting. A show of good faith today would go a long way toward a good working environment over the next 2 years. Following Ridgewood tradition would be a giant step in that direction. It has been an unwritten rule that the council member with the most votes is offered the position of deputy mayor. Ms. Reynolds believes the village council will have shown respect to the individual who received more votes than any other candidate in Ridgewood history. People sought a change in village leadership, and their voices were heard loud and clear. Ms. Reynolds urged the council members to cast their vote for the people's choice. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, there'll be a roll call of the new village council. Councilwoman Newton. Here. Councilwoman Perrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Reynolds.
Here.
Councilman Seaton.
Here.
And Councilwoman Walsh.
Here.
I'll now call for the nomination for the office of mayor. At this time, I'd like to call the nominations for the title of mayor of the village of Ridgewood.
I move the nomination of Councilwoman Susan Newton as mayor of the village of Ridgewood for a 2-year term commencing July 1st, 2020.
I second that motion. Newton. Yes. Perrin.
No.
Reynolds. Yes. Seaton.
Yes.
And Walsh.
Abstain.
I move that the nominations for mayor be closed.
I second the motion. Newton.
Yes.
Perrin.
Yes.
Reynolds. Yes. Seaton.
Yes.
And Walsh.
Abstain.
There will now be a roll call vote on the nomination of Susan Newton as mayor of the village of Ridgewood for a 2-year term commencing July 1st, 2020. Newton. Yes. Perrin.
Yes.
Reynolds. Yes. Seaton.
Yes.
And Walsh.
Abstain.
At this time, the oath of office will be administered to Mayor Newton by Matthew Rogers, our village attorney.
Before we do this, I just want to say once again, I'm honored to be able to swear Susan in as the mayor. I did it once before, back, how many years ago? It was 6 years ago. 4 years ago. 4 years ago. And again, I'm always impressed by her efforts on the behalf of the village and the time that she spends. And there's a point that goes by that she's not aware of, that she's not concerned about, and always trying to do her best with them. So with that, I'm certainly honored. Let's proceed. Yes, sure.
So I'm actually honored to have Matt Rogers swearing in as mayor for the second time. Matt and I work closely together and consider Matt a friend, a longtime friend. And as our village attorney, I want to promise everyone that he serves our village well. And I'm really very appreciative that I'm honored that he said yes once again.
Thank you very much. Okay, repeat after me. I, Susan Newton,
I, Susan Newton,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties of the office of mayor
all the duties of office of mayor
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I just want to confirm everyone on the day has the mics on, the green light should be on, so just make sure it is, so we can do that. Thanks.
This time I would like to call for the nominations for the title of Deputy Mayor of the Village of Ridgewood.
I move the nomination of Councilman Michael Seaton as Deputy Mayor of the Village of Ridgewood for a 2-year term commencing July 1st, 2020.
Second.
Perrin,
No.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Abstain.
and Newton.
Yes. I move the nominations for Deputy Mayor be closed.
And second.
I second the motion.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Abstain.
and Newton.
Yes.
There will now be a roll call vote on the nomination of Michael Seaton as Deputy Mayor of the Village of Ridgewood for a 2-year term commencing July 1st, 2020. Perrin,
No.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Abstain.
and Newton.
Yes.
We'll now have the oath of office issued to the Deputy Mayor by our Mayor, Susan Newton.
I, Michael Seaton,
I, Michael A. Seaton,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
to uphold the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of Deputy Mayor of the Village of Ridgewood
of Deputy Mayor of the Village of Ridgewood
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
At this time, I would like to call for the nominations for the title of President Pro Tem of the Village Council.
I move the nomination of Councilwoman Bernadette Coughlin Walsh as President Pro Tempore of the Village Council for a 2-year term commencing July 1, 2020.
And second.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
and Newton.
Yes. I move the nomination for President Pro Tem of the Village Council be closed.
Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton. This is to close the nomination.
Would you call?
Seaton, I'm sorry.
yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
and Newton.
Yes.
There will now be a roll call vote on the nomination of Bernadette Coughlin Walsh as President Pro Tem of the Village Council for a 2-year term commencing July 1st, 2020. Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
and Newton.
Yes.
It's my pleasure to administer the oath of office to President Pro Tem Bernadette Coughlin Walsh. Bernadette Cotton Walsh,
I, Bernadette Cotton Walsh,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of President Pro Tem
of the office of President Pro Tem
of the Village Council
of the Village Council
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
We have some comments, Deputy Mayor Stevens.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, it certainly has been an interesting 6 years serving up here on the dais, and for me personally, I'd like to start out by thanking my son Hunter, because every time I look at him, it reminds me of exactly why I do this. I can remember very distinctly 6 years ago on a Friday morning coming to the Village Hall to pick up my nomination packet for my first term to make a run at my first term for Village Council.
beautiful daughter-in-law who's hopefully going to give her a little pink baby very shortly, and our 3 little ones, Sophia, Martin, and Completed. So I just wanted to always say, as always, thank you for your support. And since I've been doing this, I think 2010 perhaps I was first appointed to the Board of Adjustment, but I actually don't remember what year that was. So this is a decade for me serving the village of Ridgewood in a variety of roles. And it's really just an honor to serve. This is a really special community. And while we don't always agree on everything, as I was saying earlier, the way we disagree really has to be done in a more polite, kinder way. One of the things that Councilman Perrin said earlier was to be collegial. And I think that as a rule, the village council is collegial, remarkably so. That we have to be collegial doesn't mean that you always agree, because sometimes you will disagree. It really is the delivery and how you treat each other, not just as council colleagues, but as people. And I think that that's, in some instances, has been missing, and in some instances has been painful for some, hurtful and malicious. So I agree, that I hope going forward that we will be able to put that chapter behind us and move forward appropriately and working hard for the village of Ridgewood. As always, we appreciate everyone that voted. We appreciate the candidates who step up, who lean in, who offer, and willingness to put themselves out there, because God only knows if anyone's reading social media, the anonymous posts, or everything else, it's not always pretty. So to be willing to put yourselves in the crosshairs really speaks to not just the folks that are sitting up here that won, but also those who didn't win. Because ultimately, even though they did not win an election, we as a community are winners. We all are benefit when there's a choice of candidates and when there's a dialogue, when issues are brought to the forefront. And so for that reason, I do want to not only commend Councilman Walsh again for her 3rd term, Councilman Reynolds, Councilman Perrin, but also Hansler, Sergio Allegre, and not to miss that during that highly unusual election, the most unusual election that we've seen ever in the history of the world, that it was all by mail, that we combined 2 elections, the Board of Ed and Village Council, and I think we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge Mike Lembo, Sorrel County, Andrew Clark, Dan Creed, and Mohammed Mahmoud for their all stepping up to run for the Board of Education. And again, this gave us an opportunity to really understand the issues that we face as a community, where we've been, where we're currently at, and where we want to be moving forward. And it was a robust election. I'm going to disagree with something Councilman Boyd pointed out earlier. He stated that the elections, off-cycle elections, don't bring out the voters. Well, in fact, it looks like we'll be probably around 30-35% voter turnout. But one vote, one village that requires signatures on a petition only needs 10% of the last total voter turnout of the last General Assembly election, and that's just about 4,000 votes. So we're far past that, because we have a robust conversation going on here in the village of Ridgewood, and the people in the village, our constituents, the people that we serve as a community, they are interested in voting. They are interested in the discussion. They are interested in the issues. They are interested in the topics. They are interested in making sure that this village is run properly, that it's an important and vital place to live and to raise a family and to educate our children. So I think that this is a really important topic, and I just wanted to point out that I think our village attorney was probably down in the county fairly late last evening, along with Councilman Perrin, because not only was this election so highly unusual with the entire mail-in ballot program, that voting system, it turns out that I believe 730 some odd ballots were rejected, which really is probably, I want to think maybe, is it close to 13%? Is that what we've assessed? I don't know what the total percentage is.
folks that went to a mailbox or they went to the post office and they mailed a ballot. I have to tell you, if my ballot weren't counted, regardless of what the outcome may or may not be, whether or not it changes the outcome, I would be personally devastated to think that my ballot wasn't counted. So I know we filed suit, we prevailed, there is relief, and the county has canvassed those ballots. We take our elections very seriously. So I just want to say that these are all important issues, and I look forward to my continued service here, now as mayor again. We can kind of move around here, exchange hats on and off, but it's again, a lot has gone on in the last 4 years. Since 2016, I think we were truly blessed to have a village council that was able to handle and to process the incredibly complicated issues that we faced, whether it was fair share housing litigation, lawsuits over high-density multifamily housing, garage issues. These were so much that we really had to deal with, the water department litigation lawsuit, all of these things, Valley Hospital, all of these issues have really been now addressed. And so the current village council will have an opportunity to focus on village more quality of life issues that we all find so important. And I have to agree with the former mayor, I should say, future Reorg, that the planning board has been exceptionally quiet because of that. And it's because of the work of the village council and our village attorney, all together. I want to formally move to Pamela's bullet point number 1, the sound system, if you don't mind. Otherwise, I'm going to vote and resolve it. In any event, so thank you for the vote of confidence. Thank you to everyone, and I do look forward to serving once again in this capacity. It is a ton of work, and I would like to extend a special thanks to our village manager, deputy village clerk, village attorney, and I see Chief Police back there, to all of our village staff who, village staff really does work incredibly hard to keep this village going, and especially in these trying times of COVID-19. And hopefully we'll be out of this, moving through this, and yellow today for optimism. So I appreciate everyone's support. Thank you.
Before we go, Mayor, may I just say something? I don't get often to give any kind of accolades, but I just want to wish Jeff Voigt success in the next endeavors he chooses. But I also want to say, on behalf of my position as village attorney, but also personally, the time that I spent with Ramon Shea, not only as a council member, but also as a mayor, was something I will certainly remember. I found him to be a man of integrity, someone of the smarts and intellect that's needed for a job like this, and also someone with compassion for the needs of others. And I think he showed us all that he takes pride in what he does and how well he does it. And I think that the village's loss may hopefully be the county's gain if everybody out there is smart enough to vote for it. I also want to congratulate the new council. I look forward to working with you. Thank you, Lorraine and Pam, for stepping up and wanting to be council members. People say it's a thankless job. That's not necessarily true. There are good things, good people out there that do thank you for your service, that do thank you when you help them out and you spend the time to do it. And those are the rewards that you have to, rely on sometimes to get you through some of the tough times. But I look forward to working with you in the next week.
May I say one thing also, in the vein of thanks? I forgot to thank my family. So my husband is here. He was an incredible help during the campaign. And my 3 cheerleaders are either here or watching via Zoom, CJ, Levi, and Shayna, and they now call me Council Mom. So I'm glad you all came.
Thank you. So we're moving on to
Resolutions. The following resolutions, number 20-185 through 20-200, will be adopted by consent agenda with one vote by the village council. They will be read by title only. Appoint village attorney. Appoint village bond attorney. Appoint village regular attorney. Appoint municipal court judge. Appoint village professional planner. Appoint professional planning consultant for affordable housing and related matters. Appoint village prosecutor and assistant village prosecutor. Appoint public defender. Appoint community development representative. Appoint representative to Open Space Trust Regional Committee. Appoint members to the planning board. Appoint members to the zoning board of adjustment. Appoint members to community center advisory board. Appoint members to the Ridgewood Arts Council. Appoint members to Central Business District Advisory Committee. And appoint village council members as liaisons to various boards and committees. Have a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Perrin,
Yes.
Reynolds,
Yes.
Seaton,
Yes.
Walsh,
Yes.
and Newton.
Yes.
With that, we'll go to comments from the public.
Do you have any comments from the public?
Lori Weber?
Please identify yourself, Ms. Weber.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Do I need to mute my sound on my computer?
No.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for allowing me to speak. This is Lori Weber, 235 South Irving Street. And I just want to offer my congratulations to our new and our continuing village council members. We're certainly very lucky to have them all. And I feel we're particularly fortunate to have Susan Newton's leadership once again. Although I know she's been very busy even while she was deputy mayor. I had hoped that this day could have remained the upbeat occasion it should have been. But unfortunately, I must take great exception to the lengthy and bitter review emanating from one outgoing council member, disrespecting fellow council members and incoming council member and thousands of Ridgewood constituents, many of whom, like myself, voted for him and displayed his campaign signs on our lawns. All of this from a person who has perpetrated a variety of racist harassments and called a member of the public a douchebag from the dais at a public meeting. It's all a fitting end for this report, given this tumultuous 4 years. It seemed longer. Thank you.
Jeannie Gleason?
Please identify yourself.
Hi, my name is Jean Tyson, and my address is 354 Fairfield Avenue. And I wanted to take this time to say thank you very much to Councilman Jeffrey Boyd for his service, his high level of communication regarding the meeting minutes, and openness to discuss issues at any time was tremendously appreciated. His support of various members within the community was also tremendously appreciated. But I also want to really make sure that Mayor Hache hears and that everybody hears that you have set the bar, Mayor Hache, for quality leadership, for openness to everybody in the village being included, and the support of the students in our high school being felt. I was one of many who helped to organize the Pride event that happened this past weekend, the Pride celebration in Ridgewood. And it was sad to see that many of our school board members were not able to make it, nor did they respond to the students to say that they were not going to make it. And the same with our council members and new mayor and deputy mayor as well. It was quite disturbing to the students as it was to me as well. Many people came up to me afterwards, whether they were residents of Ridgewood or elsewise, and said that they felt that the Ridgewood Pride celebration was especially spectacular spectacular because it included the students from our high school, as well as the principal, as well as other community leaders, and the representation and support that our students get in Ridgewood, that they are accepted and we are proud to have them members of our village, no matter what, was overwhelming to both parents and students alike. I look forward to, as the Attorney General of our state, Attorney General Reorg said, I look forward to our Pride ceremony being celebrated in Ridgewood again next year. And Mayor Hache, thank you for being so inclusive and standing up for a large community. It wasn't necessary for you to speak at the Black Lives Matter rally, and you still attended and stood with the others, and your partnership just for the village community as well as the village business owners has been really, really appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hi, Dylan.
Yes, please state your name and address.
Yes, it's Robert Holiday, 374 Evergreen Lane, Ridgewood.
Okay. Correct, you can speak.
Yeah, this is Robert Holiday, 374 Evergreen Lane in Ridgewood. I just short note to thank Jeffrey Boyd for his service. Jeffrey, you proved you have backbone. Jeffrey, you proved you have a conscience. Jeffrey, you stood up in spite of what abuse you got from the various people who did not like you. I want to thank you for your service. And in order to counter the tall keeping, we go down the history, and Ridgewood history is one of the finest goals given by anyone. Jeffrey, thank you very, very much. Now, one note to Mayor Hache, the former Mayor Hache. I have great faith in your many, many abilities. And I just want to say that why you distinguish yourself as a mayor, frankly, in my opinion, as a failure. But you have the talent to prove yourself to be the best former mayor that Ridgewood ever had. Please make use of the money you've done to make good for Ridgewood. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
8925.
Hello, yes, thank you. This is Matthew Lindenberg, 165 Fairmont Road. First, I'd like to join in the others who have thanked both Councilman Boyd and Mayor Hache for their service. I know that the job can be long and at times thankless, and appreciate all the work that both of you have contributed and the service to the community. I'd like to spend a moment and correct a point that Mayor Newton provided just a few minutes ago. As a member of the group of concerned citizens about the issues around our local election timing that we put together as a group called One Village, One Vote. Mayor Newton had made a comment commending the strength of the turnout during this local election. And while anybody who can get out during the election, and if we can get that number up at any time of the year, it is absolutely a good thing. I want to make sure that everybody is working on the same page in terms of actual data and actual facts, because facts matter. We've gone back to the data provided by the village and county clerks, and we've not yet incorporated this past election, so we will update our numbers to do that. But if you go back to 2010 and look at people voting in local elections, that's our village council and our board of ed, in off-cycle elections, versus people voting in those same higher on average in that November timing than when we have elections in April and May. That is a fact. Now we can, there are different ways to manipulate the numbers, look at voter turnout percentages based on what you consider the voter base. But in terms of absolute numbers of people voting and being represented, down ballot in our local elections, 49% more have come out in November since 2010. At the same time, by consolidating our elections into November, we stand to save tens of thousands of dollars, $50,000 or $60,000 or even six figures, depending on the year and whether we have both elections in the year. And the two counter arguments that we hear is that moving local elections to November would make them partisan or confusing. And on our website, onevillageonevote.com, we provide some specific local examples of other communities that have done that. And in fact, we are one of a tiny number of municipalities around New Jersey that still have separate off-cycle elections. Local elections can be done in a separate part of the ballot that are distinguished from political parties. And actually done at a time when more people are open to listening to political points of view and statements and are ready to absorb it to come out and vote. The other point that we hear is that we are somehow taking away somebody's right to vote because a November election would not have a separate yes or no vote on the school. And while that statement is true that we would not have a separate yes or no vote on the school budget, we would be able to vote on like-minded candidates who would represent our points of view and make sure that the budget is handled according to our wishes. And if they don't do so, then ultimately they answer to us, the voters, at the next vote in the following November, and we can change our representation. So wanted to make sure we got those points out, to make sure that the real data is there. And again, if you go to onevillageonevote.com, you can see all of that data and its sources. Lastly, I know there are those on the council who disagree with our efforts to change that. And we are absolutely open to a data-driven and fact-based and cordial conversation about it. We hope that it will be all of those things that all of you have talked about during the meeting today. Ultimately, we expect there to be some disagreement, but we also expect fair treatment in the process, and for the democratic process to be open to us and to run smoothly without any obstruction by any aspect of the government. Thank you very, very much for your time.
Thank you.
Winograd?
Well, thanks, Don. Siobhan from Winograd, 274 Ivy Street. I'm turning off the kickback audio. First, I want to say congratulations to the Pink Wave of Ridgewood. You guys are awesome. Good luck. I missed the earlier part, so I also wanted to thank both Jeff and Ramon. Jeff, I want to thank you for your service, and I want to say how far we've come since our first very negative interaction after your campaign at the Bulldog Cafe. I want to thank you for listening to my perspective as the daughter of a handicapped man with respect to housing. I also want to thank you for personally being so kind to my parents during the past couple of years. Thank you for always supporting Ridgecrest, Share, Grad, despite its unfortunate disbandment, parking, and our students. You fulfilled your fiduciary duty by asking continuous questions about excessive spending, and you ultimately fulfilled your human responsibility by originally supporting us in Pride. Thank you for always replying back to my emails. I know I sent too many. Improving our communication, even if just on social media, and showing up with your fancy camera to capture our beloved, beautiful town in action. Ramon, I want to thank you for so many things. You've done such a great job, and when I was thinking about how to say thank you for everything, I kind of laughed because we've come so far since our first political effort was discussing whether it should be co-contesting in the Student Center, or if it should be LL Cool J, or a more romantic song for the prom. You've always made me laugh. You've done such a good job. But more importantly, I want to thank you for restoring decorum and decency and good manners to the dais. Your polite touch has been most welcome, and you've truly been lovely to work with in the public setting. I really appreciate your pro-business approach to downtown, and I know Main Street does as well. Your pro-wellness approach, whether it's making Maple safer for our kids or promoting a general commitment to wellness through the health barn. grace teaching in place by continuously showing up and supporting our seniors, assisting with the senior bus, or being your ever-popular self at Ridgecrest. On top of that, I think you are to be ultimately complimented for how you handled COVID. You've really proven that transparency is not just a word, and you've handled this incident with grace and kindness. I think the whole community is so incredibly grateful for the information you provided during this time. Personally, I want to say thank you for being my friend, for always supporting my family, especially the kids, with all their effort, and serving our community. I'm so simply proud of all that you've done, and I want you to know how much you will be missed. Good luck.
Laura Christensen? You have that mute.
Yeah, hi, Laura Christensen, 421 Pondfield Place. I've been a resident of Ridgewood now 24 years this week. I love this community. I'm a little disturbed by some of what I've heard in the elections for mayor and deputy mayor. And I want to make a couple points. Susan, you talk about integrity. Pam, you talk about collegial. I do executive leadership development and executive team building, and there's a couple things that are raising the backs of my hair. To say that, Susan, you offered deputy mayor to Bernadette Cogman-Walsh, but then there was another meeting that then took that away. So is that, my question, is that a backdoor decision that happened? And I'm reminiscent of the trifecta that we all don't like to name, but Paul, Gwen, and Albert, when they did lots of backdoor discussions and decisions, and it became a voting block. And I'm just really concerned because are we heading down that same path? And I hope not. I really hope not. I've seen the council, try to work things out, but I'm going to be watching. I'm really going to be watching. And I just hope that you all as a council really take to heart the decisions that you make and try your best to not fall down the path of less integrity. And I do want to thank Ramon. I do, I value the contributions you've made to the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to be watching.
5252.
Yeah. And I just hope that
I'm going to turn the audio down in the background. Hello?
Hi.
Please state your name and address.
Ann Loving, 342 South Irving Street. Just a quick comment regarding the gentleman who was speaking about the one village, one vote and dealing in facts. One fact that he presented that I greatly appreciated is that our ability and our right to vote on proposed school board budget will be taken away from us if we only have voting in November. So thank you for pointing out that very important fact. I, for one, do not want my right to vote on anything taken away. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Please raise your hand. Try to
We'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.